All right, everybody, welcome to class. We're just starting. Let's start by going over the homework from last night. Because this is how YouTubers talk. They get real animated, and then let's take a look at the homework. You with me? Oh yeah, here we go. We'll do that later on. I got an ad break. I'm gonna break into here in a second. All right, 2. Check your homework with me, please. 6.9. I will field questions at the end. 6.9. Negative 47.1 on number 4. You're supposed to do the evens last night. Negative 6.41. Negative 6.41 on number 6. Number 8. Negative 44.33. 10. 0.294.
Do you get points off if you only do, like, you don't put the 0 in the beginning?
If you did 0.294, that's okay.
We get points off if we did it wrong, right?
Yeah. Not on the homework, but like on a test or a quiz, absolutely. 12, you should have had 38.68. 14, you should have had 0.1249. 0.1249 on number 14. 16, you should have had 102.5D minus 3. 18, you should have had 22.3M. 22.3M. 20, you should have had 29.7x. 29.7x. Jumping down here to 22. 22, you should have had 3.57. 3.57. 24, you should have had 19.51. 19.51 for 24.
3.57 or 3.53?
I'm sorry, 3.53. I read it wrong. My bad. 3.53 for 22. 19.51 for 24. 26, you should have had 12.51. 12.51 for 26. 28, you should have had 3.87. 3.87. All right. What do you have questions on from last night's homework? Lucy.
Wait, can you just go up to the first, like to number 4?
Sure. All right, we had a question in class about number 2. Remember to do your estimate. That'll help guide you. This is about 14, and then 7.2 is about 7. 14 minus 7, we should have an answer somewhere around 7. So that's our estimate. 14.1 minus 7.2. Make sure you line up the decimals, line up the tenths, the hundredths, etc. If you need to put any zeros going out to the right, go ahead and do that. 1 minus 2 can't do that. 4 becomes a 3. We got to borrow. 1 becomes an 11. 11 minus 2, we get 9. Bring down the decimal. 13 minus 7 is 6. Or you could say 3 minus 7 can't do that. We got to borrow, and it becomes 13 minus 7. Either way, we get 6.9, which is pretty close to our estimate of 7. What else do you have questions on from last night? Nothing? All right, so we feel really good about this. Okay, so under class notes, you have 5.4 pp. That's 5.4 PowerPoint. We're going to work through this today. Today's lesson is covering adding, subtracting like fractions. You probably have done this before. I understand that. But now we're going to be doing it with variables. And eventually we're going to be solving equations that have fractions in them with variables. So that is where we're going. But you first have to understand how to add and subtract fractions with like denominators. Here we go. So to add fractions with like denominators, add the numerators and write the sum over the same denominator. So for example, a over c plus b over c. Notice they both have a denominator of c. So we keep that denominator of c and we add the two numerators. Here's an example with numbers. 2 sevenths plus 6 sevenths. Add those two fractions now. Take a moment to add those two fractions. So as we add this, we keep our denominator of 7. We add 2 plus 6 and we get 8. 8 sevenths. Or you might say 1 and 1 seventh, right? You don't have to write a mixed number, but it's good to know how to do it. I'll take either of these as the correct answer. Questions on this? All right, let's talk about adding fractions. So here we have like a pie, right? And this pie has been divided into what? Fifths. Very good. And this is 1/5. That shaded region is 1/5. We're going to add to that, again, the same pie, or an identical pie, I should say, also divided into fifths. But now we have what? 2/5. So we have 1/5 plus 2/5. We still have a pie that is divided into fifths, but 1 plus 2. We now have 3/5. So 1/5 plus 2/5. Keep the denominator, add the numerators. That is how you add or subtract with fractions when you have the same denominator. Questions on that? This is just a visual representation of it. Let's take a look at this one. Notice we have a mixed number plus a mixed number. Any idea of what we should do first here? Yes?
I think add the whole thing.
We can do that. Now, I'm going to tell you there are situations where it's much easier to convert these to improper fractions. So we'll work it first where we just add the whole numbers. But then in a moment, we're going to do it where we convert to to improper fractions. So what's 4 plus 2, everybody? 6. You with me, Matthew? Okay. What's 1/4 plus 1/4? 2/4. Can we simplify this at all? What's it going to be, Sarah Kate? 6 and 1/2. So we get 6 and 1/2 there. Now, please write this down as well. This next part is important. You don't have to work this particular problem in this way, but there are problems down the road you're going to have to work this way. So please don't blow this next part off. 4. Okay, first off, 4 over 4 is equal to what? 1, right? So 4 as a whole number, here's how you can convert this to a fraction over 4. You see the denominator of 4? 4 times 4 is what? 16. 16 plus the 1/4 that is here is 17/4. 17/4 is the exact same thing as 4 and 1/4. Again, how did I do that? 4 times 4, the whole number multiplied by the denominator. That's 16, and then add anything in the numerator to it, giving you 17/4 in this case. Plus, same idea, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9, so that becomes 9/4. Again, what did we do there? The whole number multiplied by the denominator, add anything in the numerator to it. And now we just add. We keep our denominator of 4. What's 17 plus 9? What? 26. Okay. How many groups of 4 are there in 26? Try again. There's 6 groups of 4. What's 6 times 4? 6 times 4 is 24. What are we left with here? 2. And here's how we can check this. Here's how we can check this. What's 6 times 4? 24. What's 24 plus 2? 26. So 26/4 becomes 6 and 2/4, which is the exact same thing as 6 and 1/2. And you're probably looking at that right now and thinking, like, you got the exact same answer as above. Why would I do all that extra work, Mr. Rivers, if you end up with the exact same answer? And the answer is there are situations where we're dealing with negative numbers where we do have to follow this method down below. Okay? So you need to understand this method down below. Maybe not right this instant, but sometime soon. Y'all want to try these two on your own? All right, try these two on your own. Solve each equation. Make sure you simplify your answer too. I'm going to pause the video now for folks at home. This first one here, 3/4 plus 3/4. Oliver, what'd you get? 6/4. Very good. And now can we simplify this? Well, we can divide both of these by what? We can divide both of these by what? 2. So 6 divided by 2 is? 4 divided by 2 is? So we end up with 3/2, which you might say is 1 and 1/2, right? Either 1 and 1/2 or 3/2, either way is fine. How did I get 1 and 1/2? How many groups of 2 are there in 3? There's one group of 2. So if you take 2 out of the 3, you're left with 1/2. There you go. Yes, Matthew? Sure. Olivia, this next one here, y is equal, let me do some blue. All right, Olivia, help me out on this one. What should we do?
So I add the whole numbers first.
Okay, 3 plus 4 is?
7.
7.
Then I get 1/5 plus 3. That's enough.
There you go, I like it. Y is 7 and 4/5. Questions on that? Okay. I like it. Let's try these two on your own. Oh, those are big numbers on the right. That's okay. We can handle it. Try those two. Just fair warning on the one on the right, we don't want to have an improper fraction in a mixed number. I'm going to say that again. You don't want to have an improper fraction in a mixed number, so keep that in mind. All right, let's see here. Bennett, look at the first one here. T is equal to 3/5 plus 4/5. T is equal to what here? 7/5. Now let's rewrite this. If you didn't do it already, everybody take a moment and rewrite this as a mixed number. You didn't have to, but take a moment and do it just so we practice a little bit. So Lucy, what is this going to be as a mixed number? 1 and 2/5, right? There's one group of 5 in 7, so you take out 5 and you're left with 2/5. So 1 and 2/5. There's one over here on the right. Taylor, help me out on this one. X is, let me do some red. X is equal to, what'd you do first?
I added the whole numbers.
All right, so 16 plus 28 is?
44.
44. Then what'd you do?
And then added fractions.
Yeah, 2/3 plus 2/3 is?
I got
4/3. Now, I mentioned earlier, and this is what you should have done, good. I mentioned earlier we don't want to have improper fractions. What is an improper fraction? It's when the numerator is larger than the denominator. So if we have a mixed number, we don't want to have an improper fraction and a mixed number together. It's okay to have mixed numbers, that's fine. It's okay to have improper fractions, that's fine. But we don't want to have both of them at the same time. So let's change 4 1/3 to a mixed number. Let's just do it off to the side. Taylor, what is 4/3 as a mixed number?
1 and 1/3.
1 and 1/3, right? There's one group of 3 and 4, and we're left with 1/3 left over. So if we add 1 and 1/3 to 44, we get 45 and 1/3. Okay, 1 and 1/3 added to 44 is 45 and 1/3. Questions on that? Okay. Let's see what else we got. Subtracting fractions, exact same idea. We keep our denominator, we subtract the numerators. Let's take a look at this one here. Try that on your own. Keep the denominator the same, just like when you add. But you got to subtract the numerators. That's possible. It is possible to have a negative here. So we keep our denominator at 15. Campbell, what's 7 minus 28? What'd you say?
Oh,
Negative 21. Good. Negative 21 is what you should have had. 7 minus 28 is negative 21. Now, we're not quite done. Why are we not done? Parker. It can be simplified. What can we divide by in the numerator and the denominator? And divide by 3 in the numerator and the denominator. So everybody take a moment and do that now if you didn't already do that. I'll be trailing behind you. And we end up with negative 7/5. We're done. But I'm going to challenge you to write this as a mixed number now. Write this as a mixed number. Veda, what is it?
Negative 1 and 2/5.
Negative 1 and 2/5. Now, I want you to recognize something right now. That is correct, Veda. Great. Is this a positive or a negative fraction? Negative fraction. How many negative signs do you see? 1. So this whole thing is negative, right? Is this a positive or negative mixed number? Negative. How many negative signs do you see? One. So when there's a negative out front, this whole mixed number, all of it, is negative. All of this is negative, right? The 1 is negative and the 2/5 is negative. This is not -1 and positive 2/5. The whole thing is -1 and 2/5. Okay? All right. That comes up later. You want to try these on your own? I'll tell you what. Let's do it this way. Try the first one on your own. Try the first one on your own, then we're going to pause. If you're at home, I'm going to pause the video now. All right, Jack, walk me through what you did. All right, so that's 3 minus 1, which is 2. 6/7 minus 2/7 is what? 4/7. That's correct. Good, Jack. Now, this works because the 3, look at this, look up front, everybody, look up front, look up front, look up front, everybody, all eyes up front. This works because the 3 is larger than the 1. And these both have to be happening. This 6 in the numerator is larger than that 2 in the numerator. If both of these are not larger, like if the 3 was not larger than the 1, this would not work. If the 6 was not larger than the 2, this would not work. Okay? So we have to have an alternative method for when the whole number on the left is not larger than the whole number on the right, and when the numerator on the left is not larger than the numerator on the right. Does that happen over here? Well, 4 is larger than 2, so that's good. But what? 1 not larger than 6. Who thinks they know what we can do here? Lucy.
So, you make the 4 and 1/11, you make it 3 and 12/11, because you like take away one of the wholes.
That would work. That would work. I'm going to do it a different way, though. I'm going to change this to an improper fraction. So everybody take a moment and change 4 and 1/11 to an improper fraction. Matthew, what do you get when you convert 4 and 1/11 to an improper fraction? Yeah, so 4 times 11 is 44, plus 1 is 45/11. Minus. Do the same thing for the mixed number on the right. Convert it to an improper fraction. Parker, what'd you get for that improper fraction? Yep, 2 times 11 is 22. 22 plus 6, we get 28/11. And now, everybody take a moment to subtract that. Simplify the fraction if needed. You're welcome to leave it as an improper fraction. You don't have to report as a mixed number. Improper fractions are totally fine so long as they are simplified. Kyle, what'd you get?
17/11.
That's right. 45 minus 28 is 17, and we keep our denominator of 11, so 17/11. Now, we did not do an estimate, but estimates are really good on this. This is like 4 minus what?
2.
Yeah, 4 minus 2. I'd probably call it 2.5. So you get 1.5 or 1.5. But if you did 4 minus 2, you get 2. Either way, we're pretty close to that. So estimating is important, especially when you're dealing with like mixed numbers that you're converting to improper fractions. Like the probability of you making an error here goes up when you're having to make these conversions. You're just doing more, and when you do more, there's more opportunity for error. So by working these estimates, it helps you realize if you're doing it right or making mistakes. Try those two on your own, everybody. All right, Lena, walk me through this first one here. 6/7 minus 16/7. We got the same denominator, right? So what's our denominator going to be?
7.
7. What's 6 minus 16?
-10.
-10. All right, so you should have -10/7. By the way, now's a good time for me to tell you that negative out front, that's a negative fraction. You can put it in the numerator. You can put it out front like this. You can put it in the denominator like that. Questions on that? I'm going to leave it up top, but it doesn't matter. If you ever need to move it around, you're welcome to do that. But only one of them, right? Don't add a second one. Everybody take a moment and rewrite this as a mixed number. Sarah Kate, you had a question?
I was just going to say, could we turn that into a mixed number, but...
Yeah, what is it, Sarah Kate? Tell me.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's negative 137.
There you go, negative 137. Again, keep in mind this whole thing is negative and this whole thing is negative. Not just the 1 is negative, but all of this is negative. Let's take a look at that. Do we have a volunteer for the next one? Kyle? 19/24 minus 11/24. What is that going to be, Kyle? 8/24. All right, then what should we do, Kyle? Yeah, we can divide both these by what? We could, or you could divide them both by a bigger number. 8, right?
Oh, yeah.
8 divided by 8 is? 1. 24 divided by 8 is? 3. So we get 1/3. Should have had 1/3 on that one. Just always check to make sure you can simplify. Questions there? Try these two. Be really careful, especially on that first one. I'm going to pause the video now. Help me out on the first one here, Oliver. What'd you do? All right, so 3 times, right, first off, 3 minus 1 we can do, but 1 minus 4, that's going to be a negative number. So we've got to convert these to improper fractions. Oliver said 3 times 15 is 45. 45 plus 1 is 46. That's 46/15. Questions about that? Minus, all right, Oliver, what about this other one over here? That's right, 1 times 15 is 15. 15 plus the numerator of 4 is 19. So that's 19/15. And now we subtract. We keep our denominator of 15. And Oliver, what is 46 minus 19? 27. Can we do anything to this fraction? We can divide by 3. So we can divide by 3 here. We can divide by 3 here. 27 divided by 3, we get 9. 15 divided by 3, we get 5. You didn't have, like, you're done. If you add 9/5, you're finished. But let's go ahead and convert this to a mixed number. How many groups of 5 are there in 9? 1 group of 5. How many is left over? 4/5. So that's 1 4/5. Or you might have said 9/5. Either way. Questions on that one? Yes, Kyle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look at this next one. This one's a little bit easier because, again, the whole number on the left is larger than the whole number on the right. The numerator on the left is larger than the numerator on the right. So, Campbell, what's this one going to be? 4 minus 2 is? 2. 5, 6 minus 1, 6 is? 4, 6. Can we simplify this at all? 2 and 2/3. 2 and 2/3 is what you should have had. 2 and 2/3. Or you might have said 2 times 3 is 6. 6 plus 2, you might have said 8/3. Either way, 8/3 and 2 and 2/3 is the same. Questions there? Okay. By the way, we didn't do estimates. Go back on these two. Do a quick estimate on these. Shouldn't take you but about 5 seconds each. The first one, I did 3 minus 1, and we get 2. Are we pretty close to 2? Yeah, 1 4/5, pretty close to 2. The second one here, 5 minus what? 2 is 3. Are we pretty close to 3? Yeah, so the estimate can really help you out, especially in terms of like signs and stuff like that. Your homework tonight is going to be book work. I'm not going to send it to you. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you in OneNote here. So we will call this 5.4 homework. It's going to be page 237, numbers, sorry, 242. 242, numbers 12 through 36, only the evens, and we'll just leave it at that. Y'all have a great day. We'll see you next time, everybody. Do your homework. If you're at home, great job today. Email me if you have any questions. Bye.